The old children's rhyme is, Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? But you can't answer that question if you don't have a garden. And there's a group in Williams County forming an association to make sure that there are gardens around here for communities. And Richard Cooley is with me. Richard, you've been a part of this. How long has this been going on?
Well, I wasn't in on the early stages from last year when they did the demonstration garden out by the armory in the park, but my wife and I started, we took the Ohio State Master Gardeners class, so right now we're Master Gardener interns. You have to earn so many hours, 50 hours, and then after that you get a certificate and on and on. But that's where it started. How we ended up meeting Jenny was we watched that Live It program from the hospital, where they do the cooking and so forth. And Jenny was on a program which also featured produce from the demonstration garden. So from there, our interest in meeting Jenny, we called her, and next thing we know, we're on the board. And so
and there you are. So what are you growing now?
Well, we have 2 plots. We decided to help them out, and they were $10 a piece. For each plot, and we planted a lot of our stuff by seed, so our stuff is growing just a little bit slower behind everybody else, but it's been doing really well.
Well, here in 2018 we kind of got a slow chance to get into the gardens because of all the rain we had to begin with, so it took a little while to do that, but this has been quite a project. So what's the purpose of the Community Garden Association?
Well, we hope to get people interested enough to grow their own food and perhaps share it. That's really the big thing, at least in my mind.
So the food that's grown in here, you hope people will share and with their friends and their neighbors so that they have a better lifestyle.
Yeah, true. And if this spreads county-wide like we hope it does in the different communities, then that will just help people have fresh, healthy food rather than going to, I hate to say it, going to the stores and getting commercially produced food that's probably or could have been treated chemically. And so it's just healthier food.
All right, and gives people a chance to grow some of theirs, and you kind of connect with the food that you're growing when you're growing it, right?
Right, it's been an experience. We haven't grown a garden for probably 40 years. So it's kind of getting back into the groove, and of course weeds are always present. But yeah,
that's part of a garden.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like Jenny McCarnes was really kind of the spark plug behind this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was her brainchild from the very beginning. So she had put in a lot of energy and time into this, and it's just finally coming to fruition, if you will. And so we're glad she did it. But,
well, we'll have to talk to Jenny too.
Yeah.
Well, one of the real spark plugs behind the Williams County Community Garden and the fact that this garden in Bryan exists is Jenny McCarnes. And with me is Jenny. And wow, are you excited about what you've seen now come to fruition?
Well, when we were building these beds last November in the very cold weather and trying to put soil in them, I thought, is this really worth it? Because we were cold. But it's wonderful to see what's happened since then. The community here has come together. Most of the beds here are gardened by people, well, right across over there and back here and in the apartments. So we have, and then across the street there's the Girl Scout troop that she's the leader, and they have a bed here. So it's just really neat to see what's happened.
I was going to ask you, what different organizations have beds here?
Okay, well, a Girl Scout troop, and I'm sorry to say I don't know what number. I'm a longtime Girl Scout. I graduated from Girl Scouting, but I'm glad to see they're doing that, and they're going to donate theirs to a food bank. They said they want to donate their produce. We have People Works. There were some young adults that have come out, and they're getting some experience here, so it's fun to see that happening. I'm really excited about their participation. Trying to think, most of the rest are individuals or couples that are, there's a father-son, several couples, individuals. So yeah, and some of them are well seasoned gardeners.
I
And
was just going to ask, do you have to be an accomplished gardener to have a plot in a community garden?
of course not. And that's what we all want to support each other, help each other, make suggestions, and learn from each other. And that's what it's all about, building that community, those friendships, and being able to help one another.
Now, does everyone who has a plot pick what they want to put in there and try and grow it?
Yep. The only restrictions we have are, of course, nothing like weed and things like that. We had to
Nothing illegal.
exactly. We had to put that in, and no perennials, because the next year you may not get the same plot. You can preference it, but we felt that would only be fair. Down the line, if we have another piece of property somewhere that's bigger, we might consider, putting in some perennials or grapes, rhubarb, asparagus, something like that could be, everybody could harvest from. But this is our first one, so we wanted to start small and realistic.
Why here on North William Street in Bryan?
Well, the land bank offered us three properties, and we looked at all three, and we felt that this one would be the best to start because it had the apartments, which would give apartment dwellers an opportunity to try their hand at gardening, or if they were seasoned garden like the father-son, the father is well seasoned, the son is learning. So they didn't have a place in the apartment, but they have a place here. So that was one of the reasons we chose this location.
So you kind of looked at the neighborhood and said, would people around this area benefit from having a garden right in here?
Right. In fact, back in March of last year, I actually canvassed this neighborhood, went door to door, gave them little flyers and said to find out if there was interest here. And I had one gal that's right behind me here, Connie Dunseth, bless her heart. She's been with us from the beginning. She came to the first meetings, and she just lives 2 streets over. So I've seen her grow. She's been here helping paint our photo shoot flats, I guess you call them. That the kids, we had these in the day in the park, and the kids love to, get in there, and the families,
Sure.
and it helps promote gardening.
Now, this just didn't pop up. I mean, you've got beautiful fencing all around this. You've got nice mulch. You've got all the boxes all numbered and everything. And you've got water here because you have to have water here. What all did this take a lot more than you expected to put together?
Well, I knew it was going to be, I thought it was going to be a longer process, a lot of fundraising, which we need to do to proceed. Okay. But with this property came a greening grant, and it was a $6,000 grant, which, if you look around, this is how much it costs to get this in place. And it was such a blessing when the land bank told us that this grant went with it. We said, oh my gosh, this is heaven, that it would all come together. Yeah.
That's terrific. I also understand that you even had to go and have the property rezoned.
Yeah, I never thought that would be an issue, and I had to go before the zoning commission and plead my case, and actually have my husband, bless his heart, he's an architect, so he drew up the plan so I could present what we wanted to try and accomplish, and they were for it.
I was just going to say, what kind of reaction have you had from all the people that you've talked to about all this?
I'm not sure they all thought it was going to happen. There's always that, is it all going to come together? But I think they're pleasantly surprised and happy that we've been successful so far.
All right. So obviously you've got this under your belt. Are you looking at other properties to expand into?
Yes, we are. The first process in this, we've had people call us. Up in Pioneer, there was a pastor that called, and we've been up there to look at some property there. You first have to build that community, find out how many people are interested, who's willing to do the grunt work and get it all together. So there are, let's say there's feelers out there. We know of some other people interested here in Bryan itself as well. So we'll see what happens next.
Is that why it's the Williams County Community Garden Association?
Exactly. When we formed our association, we said, well, do we want to be strictly a Bryan organization, or do we want to be a county organization? And all of our board members said they felt they wanted to be able to help all of the communities in Williams County. And because we're a 501c3, we're able to get then grant money and help the whole county as a whole.
Congratulations, Jenny, and congratulations to all the people who are a part of this. I bet they're glad to see it all come together.
Oh, I know they are, and I'm delighted we don't have more kids here. I'm a retired teacher, so I love children, and we'd like to get more children involved for the next generation. So many have kind of not grown up with gardening or have had grandparents do it, but they haven't had the opportunity to do it themselves. So I'd like to see more children involved, and it's great to see one little guy here today.
Where did you get the idea? Why does this make your heart go, I've got to do this?
Oh, that's a long story. I will share with you, when I graduated from high school, I had several scholarships, one in on music and art, of all things. And I said to my parents, I'm the oldest child, I said, I really just want to work in a greenhouse. You can imagine how that would go over. And so I went and pursued elementary education because I could get art and music, and ended up actually becoming an art teacher, and I taught for 30 years, but I've always had a garden. And when I retired, I kind of put my art, this is an art in itself, but I put my formal art on the back burner and just really felt like I wanted to dive in to my gardening desires, and felt really prompted to do so.
Well, one of the people who has one of the plots here in the community garden in Bryan is Gary Powell. And Gary, how did you decide to do a plot here?
Well, it all started when they had a meeting at the municipal building to see if there's anybody against it or for it or whatever, and it started right there. I thought it was a great idea. I talked to Jenny afterwards, after they approved it, and told her that I'd be willing to help, and I got involved with her in building the boxes.
It doesn't hurt that you live across the street, does it?
No, it doesn't hurt. I don't have far to go. It doesn't hurt at all.
That helps. No. So why did you choose what you chose to put in here?
Well, I chose tomatoes for one thing because I have a hard time growing them at home. Okay. I didn't know you have to trim the bottoms of them to keep the air going through. And
here are the secrets that we always wanted to know.
Right, and I've learned quite a bit from Matt and other people that and.
That was one of the things I really wanted to know is when you're growing this, you're really not all alone. You can ask different people and they kind of help each other out.
Right. You ask and see how they do, and they got some good ideas, and you try them out.
Gary, I think it's really nice. What are you going to do with your tomatoes?
I'm going to probably eat them.
Yeah, going to have some good salads, huh?
Good salads, and I'll probably be giving some away.
Whereas, Saturday, July 14th at 10:30 a.m., people from within the Bryan community, as well as Williams County community, come together to celebrate the opening of the Williams County Community Garden at 426 North Williams Street, Bryan, Ohio, which includes 20 raised beds for planting as well as demonstration classes for our community. Whereas the Williams County Community Gardening Association received 501c3 status on January 18, 2018, effective October 19, 2017. Whereas the Williams County Community Gardening Association had its first visible presence at a demonstration garden in Rec Park in May of 2017. The garden still produces vegetables that today are donated to the Bryan Senior Center. Whereas through the dream of a few determined individuals, many hours of blood, sweat, and tears, some donated land and support from local governing boards, the dream of a community garden has today become a reality in providing access to healthy food, instruction on proper gardening, and volunteer opportunities for our youth. Now therefore, I, Carrie M. Schlade, Mayor of Bryan, and on behalf of the City of Bryan, do hereby proclaim Saturday, July 14th, 2018 as Dedication Day for the North Williams Street, Bryan, Ohio Community Garden. Thank you all that have contributed and been involved in this process. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. That was wonderful.
Go ahead.